there's a lot that's wrapped up in the term going gray. You're not disappearing. You're not going anywhere. You've just stopped dyeing your hair. And there's a lot that grows with that. 95% of the women who have ditched the dye and who have finished their grow outs feel incredible. Women who are getting older, you're becoming more valuable.
Welcome to the Old Chicks No Shit podcast for midlife women who are ready to rewrite the rules and create their kick-ass next chapter. I'm Jennifer Arthurton, and each episode we dive into reinvention, resilience, and unapologetic pursuit of your best chapter yet. Because midlife is not the beginning of the end, it's simply a new beginning. Let's dive in. Today, we are going to be talking all about gray hair, gray beauty, all the hows, the whys, the whats, and really about how to embrace your grays. So my guest today is Alexis Asianus. Did I pronounce that right? Asianus?
Alexis Asianus. Go ahead, try it again.
Alexis Asianus, who is the founder of Silvering, a beauty company specifically for women who are embracing their gray hair. So welcome, Alexis.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to this.
So I will admit I am not yet embracing my grays. I am still coloring my hair, but I really want to embrace my grays because I think it looks so cool. Like when I see women who are just like owning it, it looks so chic. It's so beautiful.
It can be,
but I haven't mustered up the courage to do it. And I'm very conscious of the fact that I use the word courage because like men don't need courage to own their gray hair, do they? Like,
no, absolutely not. And to be fair, most men don't color their hair in the first place. Right. And then the second point is their hair is usually short. So that grow out period, even if they were coloring their hair, would be very short. You know, your hair grows half an inch a month. You know, so for men, that could be 1 month worth of growth. And for women, you know, that could be 2 years. And it's a lot, like so much grows with that grow out and that's internal growth and how you look at yourself, how you look at beauty standards, you know, questioning why, and then kind of having to go through that stripey stage. It's tough. Like it's tough, but once like at the other end, it is such a great feeling. Such a great feeling. Yeah.
I have so many questions for you, but let's start with, you just said something really important about the inner growth, because I mean, I do the Old Chicks No Shit podcast. Everybody knows the work that I do, but I still have a lot of internalized fear, I guess, I want to say, about, you know, going gray. Like, you know, it's like finally like the last step on the journey to like, okay, I'm 58 years old, right? Like to owning my age. And I have a lot of gray. I'm like in the hairdresser every 6 weeks or, you know, 8 weeks, right? Yeah. That gets to be like tedious and expensive. And I really want to just own it. But there's like a part of me that keeps going, no, not yet. No, not yet. Not yet.
And that's,
right?
It's interesting because we have we've all grown up in a society where gray hair has been associated with, you know, 70s and 80-year-olds. And the reality is women start to silver on average at 35. 35. So there's a lot of normalizing that really needs to happen. A lot of kind of rethinking what silver hair really represents. And part of our ethos is that we truly believe, see the shirt?
I love it. Wisdom is beautiful.
Wisdom
I love
is
it.
Beautiful. Yeah. And that it's there's nothing to hide here. You know, those are, you know, people have said it, you know, you've earned every one of those silver hairs. And why? And I think this is where that growth comes from, is that questioning, why do we hide it? Yeah. Why? What are we afraid of? And for a lot of women, there's shame associated with it. And like a shame of growing older, or a shame, you know, you don't want to show up to an event unless your hair is done. Yeah. Right. And it's like, wow, how did we get to that place? And how important is that? And that's completely individual to every person. But that's part of the growth. Like that seriously is part of the growth.
Yeah. And, you know, there's this notion, like if you see a woman that has let her grays grow, or she's in the process of growing out, there's that, oh, she's let herself go. Right? Like there's like
Well, and
but that's the stigma,
mhm.
right?
It is, but that's something that women have put on women, right? And that's also part of the
Mm,
beauty industry that has dictated to us, like this
right.
is what you're supposed to look like. And that beauty industry originally, you know, was men saying that we want you
Right.
to look like a nubile, um, stay
The
30
nymph.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's beautiful. And, so many of us have bought into it. Um, and it, it's so, oh gosh, it's so, there's so many layers to it. I'm in a position where my mom, she in the 80s, she stopped dyeing her hair, and I was able to see to have like a role model of a woman, a professional woman who got dressed, made herself up for work, giant shoulder pads, at the 80s, and big white hair, and she looked amazing. And there was nothing letting herself go about
Mm,
that.
yeah.
She looked far better than the weird blonde that she had been doing. But that's,
Right.
no judgment, mom. Um, and yeah, so I think part of this whole package around silvering hair is what we're trying to do is to make sure if you see it, if you see women walking around confidently and proudly with silvering hair, it's beautiful, and it's an example to other women and girls to say, like, yeah, it can be done, and it's not letting yourself go.
Yeah.
It's just not dyeing your hair, and dyeing your hair is filled. There are a lot of chemicals, and the problems that go with it.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily gray hair either. There's the salt and pepper stage, and it's evolving, which is why we call it silvering and not gray,
Gray.
because gray is very static. Silvering hair
Right.
it's evolving. Like, you start with salt and pepper, and you get to watch your hair evolve from those salty, little salty bits, to the streaks, to the bigger streaks, and if you're lucky, to this, an all out foxiness.
Yeah. I love that
Yeah,
word, foxiness, because
it's a process. Yeah.
it is a process. And, the one thing I was thinking was, um, there's the sense of, like, as women get older, there's this sense of invisibility, right? Like every woman says
Mm,
that, like, you get to a
yeah.
certain age and you feel like you're invisible and irrelevant. And I
Mm,
think the idea that gray hair kind of plays into that, like it's washing you out. It's like you're fading into the background, which is completely not true, but I can see
no,
why there's this association with it. It's like, if I can maintain, my bright blonde or red
yeah.
or brunette or whatever, I'm less invisible, at least less invisible to myself, maybe too, right?
Yeah, and I think there's, words matter, so
Mm,
there's a lot that's wrapped up in even the term going gray. It implies a loss of vitality, a fading, and and women who are getting older, growing up,
growing
it's
up.
you're becoming more valuable, which again is why we use
Mm-hmm.
silvering as opposed to going gray. We're not going anywhere. We're getting better, stronger, and more valuable. This wisdom and all of this life that
Amen.
we've earned. It's like, man, why? Let's show it off. Let's show it
Yeah.
off.
I just saw a meme the other day that said women over 50 are the new powerhouses of our time. And I was like, that is so beautiful. And it's so true. Like, it's so true. Women are just doing incredible things in the world, solving problems and starting businesses and
Mm,
just like basically trying to figure out how to make life better for other people. Right. It's,
yeah, and
it's,
other
it's so
women and
beautiful to
girls,
watch.
and yeah,
Yeah.
and for
So beautiful to
society, because
watch.
women have often been in the place of caretaking,
Yeah.
um, and giving the fact that in this day and age, women have so much more of a voice than they ever had done, grammar, um, but they do have so much more of a voice.
Mm,
Um, I'm not sure there are more women doing more things, but there are more women talking about it, more women
right.
sharing it with other people, right? Like, there's an awareness, and when there's an awareness, there's this. It's almost catchy, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love that so much. Like, it makes me happy every time, I see a
Yeah.
woman like talk about a problem that she's solving in the world. And every time it is like women, I've heard this said, men have a crisis of identity and women have a
Mm.
crisis of meaning. And
Oh,
it's
that's
so
so
true,
interesting.
isn't it? Right?
That is so interesting. And I think this idea, and that kind of reminds me of something when you mentioned that women have the sense of disappearing. I wonder if it's wrapped up with this identity piece, right? Because
Mm,
there for so
mm,
long you're for those women who are parents, you're a parent, and then you're at work. And then
yeah.
at some point you're no longer working and your kids are all grown up and it's just like, "Oh, what's this crisis of identity?"
Yeah.
That's
It's so
interesting.
true. It's so true because as women, we are the titles and the roles that we play, right? So I'm a
Mm,
wife, I'm a mother, I'm name insert job title, I'm a sister,
yeah,
I'm a daughter, and
an
nowhere
aunt.
like
Yeah.
right, all of the things, but very rarely are we defined by who we actually are. That was my midlife crisis, and I see
Yeah.
this through so many women, right? Like we don't know who we are because we've been defined by everything that we do in the world,
That's so
right?
interesting. Yeah.
And then when we reach this stage of life where we're now coming into our own, and I really believe we are coming into our own in this midlife stage, right? We
Yes.
start to realize like this is what's really important to me. Like this is what I want to spend my time and energy on, right? Like we're
Yes.
choosing where to spend our time and energy as opposed to the roles that we were slotted into as life went on.
100%. And that could be being an entrepreneur, right? It could be
Right.
writing a book, it could be,
Absolutely.
becoming a speaker, or it could be just reeling back and like working less and just saying, "You know
Yeah,
what is more important is my mental health," or "I want to spend more time at the
exactly.
cottage," or but you're right. It's leaning closer and closer into that person that you have
Hmm.
learned um is closest to you. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that
Yeah.
you're becoming more yourself as you grow up.
Yeah. I mean, I refer to it as finding the truth of who you are, right? Like the
Ooh,
truth, like the core truth, like your true
yeah.
authentic self. Like we're peeling away
May
all of
we
those.
may
Yeah.
we keep looking for her. You know?
And
It
it's
feels
it's a
like it's just
lifelong
it's
journey.
a exactly, exactly. It's like on your deathbed, it's like, "There!" You know?
Yeah. I just saw
There she
another
is.
glimpse. Yeah, exactly. So tell me a little
And that's it.
bit about the journey to starting silvering and like what problem were you trying to solve along this way? Because obviously there's a problem in there somewhere.
There's such a problem. I've been in the beauty industry for about 30 years. I started off as a model in the 90s, and then I spent 20 years behind the scenes in uh, beauty merchandising and marketing. So business to
Mm,
business. So we would work with everybody from Chanel to CoverGirl and everybody in between, the Sephoras, the Ultas, the Shoppers Drug Marts, and work with them to kind of bring beauty into store. So we would translate
right.
brands and all of that. So during that time, I had access to everything. All of the products crossed my desk, um, and so I was very, very much aware of what was available. Um, and during that time, I stopped coloring my hair. I was pregnant with my son, and I was like, "Rrr." I was an older mom, and risky. Everything was risky. So it was like, well, I don't want to risk anything. So I stopped dyeing my hair, and I discovered I loved it. Like I loved the seasoned professionalism that it kind of gave me. I wore my hair short. I felt chic. It was a bit of a calling card. Um, but again, I was in the beauty industry and I wanted to look chic and put together. I was working with some of the top executives and directors in the beauty field, and I found a really hard time finding products that worked for me. Um,
Mm,
and you wouldn't, it's like, well, what's the big difference? But
yeah.
there is a big difference. Your eyebrows were my, that was my linchpin. It's like eyebrows, trying to get that right. And I even asked my mom, I'm like, Mom, what do you use? She's like, I have this pencil from the art store. And I'm not kidding. She used like a pencil, a
Mm,
lead pencil. Um, Anyway, digressing. So I compromised a lot, and I didn't realize why a lot of the products weren't working on my hair. Yeah, you have to understand when your hair is this light, everything shows up on it. It's like wearing a white t-shirt. You know, if you're using products that have colors and dyes in them, it shows up. Um, Buildup might show up differently, on you, on women with darker hair, even on blonde hair. But when your hair is very light, buildup shows up as a discolorant.
Mm.
And that's a problem. Add heat to that, and you're basically baking product onto your hair, which is like shows up. Um, so it took a lot of trial and error, just personally, to figure out what was going to work for me. I wasn't even entirely sure why. The product kind of combinations that I landed on were working. That came later. Um, but there I was. I had kind of a methodology, and I settled and compromised a lot. And then COVID hits, right? I'm with everybody else at home watching the socials as women.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you stopped dyeing your hair, but women weren't going to the salons. Did you stop dyeing your hair? I mean, were you in
For a
that
little bit.
position?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, so a lot of women took that opportunity to say, like, oh, if I'm going to do it, I'm doing it. I'm just going to do it. And you saw on all of the socials these groups coming up on Instagram, on Facebook, of
Yeah.
women who are supporting each other and asking each other questions like, "Oh, this is where I am. What do I need?" And I was like, "Oh, I can help. Like, let me answer some of these questions." And the reality was, everybody was confused because there are no products out there for women with silvering hair made specifically for them. And um, I thought, geez, somebody should really do something about this.
Mm.
And I was like, huh. Somebody who had connections in the industry. I'm like, I have connections in the industry. That's me. Somebody who understands the tips and tricks about beauty. And I was like, oh, I've got that. I've got that. I've worked with some of the best makeup artists and hairstylists in the world. I'm like, okay. Um, and and somebody who had an understanding of what silvering women need. And I'm like, oh, hold on. That's me.
It's me.
Um, so so there it was, like, towards the end of COVID, I quit my job, and I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to do this. Someone's going to do it. I'm going to do it. Let's go. And I took like a year and a half, 2 years to create the formulations, to do all of that homework, to do all of the scientific studies to look into, like, what makes silvering hair unique, how do you make it beautiful, how do you what is the problem, and why are all those products out there not working, um, and then created a product line, and boom, silvering was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love this so much. But okay, along this journey, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I can solve all the problems. I can solve all the problems.
Mm,
That's great. But then there's that leap from I can solve the problems to now I'm actually going to go make a product. Like,
yeah.
how, like, to me, that's the part that I'd be like, oh my God, no, 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 I don't know how to, I'm not a scientist. I don't know how to do this. Like, how did you navigate not knowing, like, basically trying to figure that out?
Well, again, I was very, very lucky that I had some mentors. I knew people
Hmm.
in the industry. I'd been working
Okay.
in the industry for 30 years, so I knew founders who
Okay.
I came to with a business plan. I said, "This is what I'm thinking," and they're like, "Mm-hmm, yeah, I think you're good." I said, "Well, where should I start?" And I got some direction. Of course, a lot of the direction that I was given kind of assumed that the world wasn't logistically broken and that you could visit places in real life. So like my
Right.
whole trajectory was like, okay, well, I have to do that, but how do I get around this? And to be honest, um, I don't want to say I'm great at taking risks, but I'm very calculated in the risks that I
Mm.
take. I'm
Right.
very confident in the research that I do. Um, so that when I hit when I decide on something, I'm like, okay, this is all the information I could, I have, this is the direction I'm going to go and why. And if this doesn't work out, here's plan B. And that's every decision. And I feel like a lot of my previous career was like really just built me for this. Like as a designer, you're tasked with synergizing information to create something new. And if you break it down, that's essentially any new project, and any new business. Like, how do you take
Right.
this information, and you need to solve a problem, and how do you take all of that information and create that thing? Um, so much what I did.
Amazing. Amazing. And
Thanks, lady.
what would you say was like your biggest challenge in bringing this to reality?
Oh, um, uh, there are so many. Biggest challenge. I'm gonna say logistics.
Yeah.
And I think that was due to the times,
Mm-hmm.
and how to get around that. But it ended up, it's funny because it ended up being kind of a driving force to do the right thing, right? Like if you're producing in the country that you're manufacturing, like all of this kind of like, there's a right way to do things and kind of the cheap, fast way to do things.
Right.
And I find at every step of the journey that I've been on, there's been like an angel and a devil, right, on each of my shoulders. And there's like,
Right.
here's one way of doing it, and here's the cheap, fast way of doing it. Um, and I was very particular about not being that. Like I'd seen enough greed in my time, in the corporate world, and I was like, there's a better way to do things. There's a better way to do things, and I can't unknow what I know. You know,
Yeah.
and that's part of
And
the
that
wisdom
takes,
piece.
well, and I think it also takes an immense amount of courage to
Mm,
go because, to go okay, there's the easy, the fast way. And then there's, I'm like really doubling down on what I know to be true, like trusting my own instinct
yeah.
about what I know to be true. And that takes courage, especially when you're bringing a product to market in an incredibly competitive industry. Although I guess gray hair is not that competitive.
No, it's interesting. Like right now, we're the only beauty vertical in the beauty space doing this. So it's the
Well, that's amazing.
competition is yeah, the competition is purple shampoo, right? And purple
Right.
shampoo, for anybody out there who uses it, knows that that's it's kind of a bummer because it's a one size fits all solution, regardless of if you're in Miami or you know I'm trying to think of somewhere cold and dry. Winnipeg. It's like the same shampoo
Right.
is expected to work. And I'm like, no, why is that all we have? Um, but you mentioned this idea of courage, and I'm not sure it's necessarily courageous. But and it's almost selfish, to be honest with you, Jennifer. Like I like sleeping at night, and I take
Mm.
things very very
Right.
seriously. Like
I love that.
if I don't want to be somebody who's making the world worse. And
Right.
again, you can't unknow what you know. And I worked in an industry that has so much waste and so much plastic, um, and and the beauty industry is full of chemicals, and it's problematic in all kinds of other ways. And I felt like I could stay in beauty because I love it. Like there are certain aspects of it that I really love, without um, without compromising integrity.
Mm.
And there's something about um, our purpose of changing the way that all women and girls see silvering hair, to see it as aspirational and chic, that is so positive. And it's not just age positive, but it's body positivity and not self acceptance, but self adoration. Like love yourself, love all of those signs of growing up.
Mm.
Um, and then wrapping into that an ethical manufacturing methodology, clean ingredients, responsible packaging. I feel like it's all, I could feel really good about that.
I love
you know.
that. I love that so much. So I was reading something, I think it was on your website, about that I didn't know about
Mhm.
gray hair is not actually going gray, it's going translucent. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, that's
Which
right.
I'm like,
So
oh, that's fascinating.
I know. It's cool. It's one of those things that you once you start digging down, you're like, huh, the body's neat. Um, and yeah, silver hair is it's an absence of melanin, and that's basically like an empty straw, if you can think of it that way. You know, so that
Yeah.
translucency is amazing. It's beautiful because it does all kinds of incredible things. For women with silvering hair, you know this. It is transformative in a chameleon like way, um, in that it takes on the colors in your environment. Like you could be in a blue room and your hair kind of reflects all of those colors. You could, which is, you know, lighting temperature. You know, if you've got really yellow lights, your hair is going to look very yellow because it's reflecting the light. What sunlight does to silvers is gorgeous. Really makes them sparkle. Um, but, and I'm going to say a big but here, um, it also comes with some like, oh, well, that's why. So you can see with maybe not with this lighting, um, the hair and the part line. If the first bunch of rows of silvering hair or rows of hair are silver, you're going to see more scalp through it.
Okay.
So it even if you don't have thinning hair, and thinning hair is a thing, like that's 1 in 3 women experience hair loss and hair thinning. Like this is normal, um, and manageable, and often related to hormonal changes. You know, once those even out, things change. So that happens. But even if your hair isn't thinning, there's an appearance of thinning that can be concerning. And then what do you do? And for silvering women, you know, there are no products that are designed to just opacify those hairs. Because I'm telling you, we've got a product called Borderline, and it opacifies the first layers of hair, and it's night and day difference. It's like an instant full hair, boom.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
yeah, because you're going from clear hair to opaque white makes a difference. Um, and then scalp massage serums, like scalp care, makes a big difference in for thinning hair. The products on the market are filled with ingredients that are, you know, oily yellow.
Mm.
What is that going to do? So we developed a very beautiful scalp massage serum that's colorless, that's leave-in, it's non-greasy, won't stain your pillowcase, and more importantly, it won't stain your hair.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
So
interesting. Yeah, sorry,
it is. No,
yeah,
no. So
I'm a
is
diverter.
trans is translucent hair more brittle? Like, you know, like sometimes when I have these grays, they are literally they stand up. They're more wiry than the rest of my hair.
They behave in a strange way sometimes, yes.
Right, but like why is that? Like what is the nature of the silvering hair versus melanated hair, let's say?
You know, it depends because a lot
Okay.
of what happens to hair regardless of the color.
Hmm.
So the silvering hairs, if you've got them, like oftentimes they're growing out of a damaged root, and they're, you know, a little bit funky until they can steady themselves out. Um, and older hair, like we'll just stay there, older hair behaves differently. And that's like, you know, the sebum production is lowered, you know, hormonal changes, like all of these things are contributing. And when you're coloring your hair, there are all kinds of other, you know, chemicals that are being added to relax
Oh
and
yeah.
tame and
Yeah. Yeah.
that, you know, it's your hair is going to behave differently. What most women find is that once their silvers grow out, it takes a little bit of time, but then it's like the most beautiful, softest, hair that they've ever had. And it's what their hair's supposed to have been like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. So I always have this, when somebody asks me about, like, if I'm talking with my girlfriends or whatever, and we're talking
Mhm.
about going gray or whatever, and I always do that. I don't think gray goes
Silvering,
with my
silvering.
silvering. Excuse me,
Yes. Yes.
silvering.
Train your
I
friends. Train your friends.
train myself, train my friends,
Mm-mm.
but I always say things like, I don't know if it goes with my complexion, right?
Right.
So, like, how? Okay, so obviously when your hair color changes, maybe not obviously, I don't know, I'm going to ask you this, is it
Yeah.
true that when you become silver it changes like the way you do your makeup, the
Sure.
colors of your makeup, and then
Yes.
how do you begin to figure that out? Because by the time, like, my makeup is a routine, I've done this routine for like a
Mhm.
billion years, right?
Yes.
Already, I can't even
Yeah.
fathom the thought of, like, okay, where do I even start to figure out what new
Mm.
makeup do I need, what changes do I need to make? Like,
That's,
how do you
it's it's funny because it's not really that different. Um,
okay,
so
so I'm telling
there's
myself a lie
something.
basically.
Well, and it's also different on your skin color and your skin tone,
Right.
right? Like if you have dark skin and your hair is white, you're basically putting a picture, which is your face, into a different colored frame, which is your hair.
Oh, great
And
way to look
so,
at it.
yeah, so when and like blondes can really kind of attest to this because I've got kind of palish skin. In the summer, I'm kind of brownish. I don't know. But with light hair, I find makeup looks and like it almost kind of gives me more freedom to play with like bold glasses,
Mm,
really bold lips, like because you're bringing attention back into the face, like you can, bring that um, all of that in. Because otherwise, my skin and my hair are like becoming similar shades,
right.
and you want to like bring attention back into your face. And that's where eyebrows are really important. And a lot of women, I don't know, about our age, kind of went through the 90s and plucked a little bit. A lot of plucking and a lot
Right.
of hair that just didn't grow back. And eyebrows are everything. Like that's especially when your hair goes lighter and if you've got lighter skin, eyebrows bring the focus back into your face because again, you've removed this frame and you've got to like notch that frame back towards your eyes. And that's where eyebrows are so important. And that's why haha, that was our first product to market were eyebrow shades that worked for silvering hair because there's nothing worse. Okay, nothing worse. I mean, there are all kinds of things worse, but aesthetically frustrating is having silvering hair, which is really desaturated because you're not using box
Hmm.
dye colors, um, with brown eyebrows or like dead
Mm,
gray eyebrows because it's not like your eyebrows aren't dead
right.
green. Like that desaturated hair color is an incredible mix of your natural hair tone with those silvers. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not gray. And so somebody who probably a guy who said, "Yeah, here's a gray eyebrow pencil that's going to work for you." It's no, my eyebrows aren't gray. They're not gray. They are, you know, desaturated. I want my eyebrows to connect to my hair. So that was like product number one. You've got warm tones and you've got cool tones, and there's a light and a dark, and that seems to cover everybody. And it's magic. I mean, you can look at the reviews on the website. People are like, "Where have you been? Why?" And because it's a thing. It's really a thing. It's such a one of the many annoying things about not being able to
Right.
find beauty products that work for you.
So, what's the difference in the product, though? So, what does a desaturated product look like? Like,
Hmm.
I'm like, it's
Mhm.
just like a watered down version of a, like, I'm sorry, that's very,
That's okay. No, no, no.
um, but just like a less pigmented version of a regular eyebrow color. Is that,
That's right.
did I
So
describe that? Okay.
yeah, you did. So the warm tones are it's like brown, but just really desaturated to the point of being like almost dusty.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
right, but still brown,
Right.
but not taupe, not orange. There's no heat in there. Like there's no really like it's a strange thing, but it's you also have to consider what natural hair looks like. Like natural hair is not a box dye color. It is desaturated. It doesn't have that
Mm,
intensity, that vibrancy, that intensity of color. So the warm tones are like a super desaturated brown. The cool tones are super desaturated, cooler brown. But they're
gotcha.
neither of them are brown. It took a lot of trial and error and also understanding that the eyebrow shade is going to be layered over top of skin. And skin tone is going to show through, and skin tone has some warmth to it. So it's like, how do we further bring that tone back? And it sounds ridiculous, like how much energy was spent getting these colors right, but the results are magnificent. Yeah.
Wow, that's so innovative. Like, you know what I mean? Like it would
No, you wouldn't
because
think it's like eyebrows. What? But yeah.
no, but no, I never would have thought of it that way. And I think, coming from somebody who was living the situation, who understood it, it could never have been made in a lab by somebody who was not, couldn't understand having silver hair. Like you have to be in
Exactly.
the position to understand what is required for that thing.
Exactly. Exactly, which is why it's like I was just the right person at the right time, with the right kind
Mm.
of skill set to do this. It's yeah, I fell into my life.
Well, I mean, I truly believe, like, I truly believe that, first of all, everyone has a purpose and there's no coincidence, right? Like,
Mm.
your
Ooh,
life
nice.
prepares you for exactly where you need to go. So, like,
Oh,
all of that buildup of your training, your decision to go gray at a relatively early age, like, all of that, like, it's just like paving the path for this purpose, which is so
right?
beautiful. So
Yeah.
freaking beautiful.
It feels so right too. Like I can't even tell you how satisfying it is. Like I have hard days. Don't get me wrong,
Oh, no,
but those hard
don't we
days are a
all?
lot more bearable when I know that I'm doing something that's really meaningful. Like it's meaningful for me. I feel like I'm moving forward. That there's like it's positive. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying this actually to a client the other day. There is no feeling that you can describe that's better than doing something that feels so aligned with who you are. Like it's
Mm,
just at the core of who you are. And when you get to do that thing in the world, like it almost, I mean, it feels almost effortless, right? Like, yes, there's
right.
hard days. Yes, you have to work hard, but it's like what I call like energy renewing work as opposed to energy
Yeah.
depleting work, right? Because
Yeah.
you're just renewing more of who you are, right? Every problem, every challenge is just like you digging deeper in who you really are.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. This idea of leaning closer and closer to who you are. And I think
Mm.
everybody's doing it in their way, right?
In their way.
And for women
Exactly.
who have chosen to stop coloring their hair, a lot of them find that same feeling of getting closer to their authentic
Mm.
selves. And I guess it's shedding a lot of old ideas, realizing a lot of new things, reconnecting to yourself in a different way. Um,
Yes.
but still, like you're not disappearing. You're not going anywhere. You've just stopped dyeing your hair, and there's a lot that grows with that. And that's, but I have to say, I'd say 95% of the women who have ditched the dye and who have finished their grow outs feel incredible. And that's
Yeah.
that's the other thing. Like it's almost shocking that a beauty industry that's supposed to be for women denies us this pleasure. Because
Mm.
it's outstanding this sense. So part of what we're doing, again, like our products are great for silvers, but it's to help women feel proud and feel confident walking around in their silvers and to reinforce maybe amplifies the word, but amplify that feeling that the silver hair already gives them and
Yeah.
just say like, yeah,
Yeah.
more of that, please. Let's lean into that and make sure
Yeah.
that's like that's front and center and it's yeah, it's kind of like wearing your whatever it is that
Yeah.
makes you you. Um,
Yeah. And
polishing that
as
up.
yeah, and as you were talking, I was just thinking, the notion that we feel invisible has little or nothing to do with what we look like. It's like, how connected are we actually to ourselves? Right? Because if we're
Yeah.
disconnected from who we are, and our place in the world is defined by in relation to something else, right? And then those things
Mm-hmm.
change. Yeah, of course we're going to feel invisible. We're going to feel like we're irrelevant. But it's got actually nothing to do with how we look. It's got everything to
Right.
do with who we are and how
And how
connected we
you
are.
Yeah, and how you feel about yourself. Like this is
Right.
another, one of those tips and tricks from the old modeling days. I realized that makeup artists and hairstylists to some degree, they work with what they've got, right? And they're like, what makes you you? How do we take that and make you look more you?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you were
Right.
hired for aesthetically, right? You were hired because you have blue eyes and short dark hair, which is my shtick. Um, how do we amplify those things? And that's what leads in the imagery. So I feel like for women, um, finding out again what makes you you, not just aesthetically, but just in
Yeah.
principle, leaning
Yes.
closer into that helps you walk with confidence because you are walking into the room like all of those
Yes.
things that you've acknowledged and that you're putting forward. Um, that's what makes you you. Like and it's awesome. Like that's why we're all so
Yeah.
different. Like we're all women, but we're all such different creatures. And it's like,
Yeah.
what are those differences? And like show that off, you know? That's your
Oh,
confidence.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, you're boosting my confidence to start walking towards
Oh,
silver. But here's my question, and this is probably going to be the question of all the people listening who are like, "Yeah, I want to own who I am." Okay, how do I navigate this transition? Like, what are your tips
yeah.
and recommendations for going through the transition?
It's so individual to everybody. So it depends on what your hair is like. It depends on so if you have long hair and you want to maintain long hair, it's going to take longer, obviously. And I mentioned
Right.
before, half an
Yeah.
inch a month. So you
Half
can
an inch a
go
month.
1 month, grow out your natural hair and shave off all the rest, and boom, you've done it.
Right.
So, other than that, if you wanted to keep your length, there are blending options. And I think there are some, it's expensive if you're going to go somewhere to get it done properly. And it will require a little bit of a grow out because a good hairdresser could take a look at your roots, see where there are streaks. If you have streaks, like you don't even know what's under there. To be
Right.
honest, you might
No
start growing
idea.
out. It's like it's all white. What?
Right.
Or you might grow out and it's like, geez, I just have a little bit of salt in my pepper. You don't know until you grow it out. Um, so depending on what stage you're at, how much hair, like how much silver you have, a good hairdresser will be able to take a look at those roots and then kind of extend. But that takes time and it takes money. It's expensive, but that would likely be your last trip, not to the salon,
Mm,
because certainly we want to get our hair cut. Um, but your last trip for the dyes.
interesting.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
may have
or
to have a
you just
convo.
bite the bullet and grow it
Just
out. You
and
just now that we've talked, and I invite your listeners as well to look around and see how many people are growing out their silvers. It's remarkable. It's remarkable
mm-hmm.
how many women are at various stages of it. And then you think, like, how do I feel about that? Is that like, am I looking at that going, oh, that woman's letting herself go? Or is this woman doing a really hard thing because it's important to her? And
Mm.
and she is deciding, I'm doing this thing, and I know that I've got like a skunk line or whatever. Um, and that's yeah, that's what they call it. Depending on, if you're going from
Yeah, yeah.
white growing into black, it's like, huh. But it could also look really intentional and cool, at different lengths. Um, yeah, but you would be very, very surprised once you start taking a look around how many women have done it and how many women are
Yeah.
in the process.
Yeah. I mean, I see it everywhere and I
Hmm.
so admire it. I think it looks so beautiful. And, the women who are just like owning it, like they're still fashionable, they're still chic, it's elegant. It's like it's just beautiful. But there's
Just have
that
to
like,
get there.
you just have, that's the thing, right? Like you just have to commit, right?
Right,
And
right.
and then I know women who have gone like, 4, 5, 6 months, and then they're like, I can't take it any longer, and then they go back, and then they're like, I really wish I
And
hadn't done that.
but that's okay too, right? Like
Right.
everything else in life, like there's no, and I think women, like we just have to be nicer to ourselves and just
Yeah.
like it's okay. It's okay to try and then change your mind. It's okay if you want to color your hair. That's okay
Yeah.
too. It's
Yeah.
just for us, we want to make sure that the next generation of women and girls see that there is a beauty option, that not dyeing your hair is an
Mm,
option and it's
I love
valid
that.
because there are actually products out there to help you look and feel amazing, right? That's it.
Amazing.
But it's an option. It's an option. Like you can stay home and be a
Yeah.
mom. You can go to work and be a mom. Like all of these are options. We're just making sure that there are more.
Yeah. I love your website. I love how much
Thank you.
education you provide. Um,
Try.
because I mean, I learned a lot. Like going through your
Oh,
website, I
good.
learned a lot. Like I was just like, oh wow, things I hadn't even considered, right? Products I hadn't considered, like for many reasons, right? But there's so much education there. So
Oh,
where
good.
can people go to find your products to educate
Mhm.
themselves on the silvering journey, the silvering brand?
Good. So our website, we're direct to consumer right now. We're in talks with some retailers, but I can't talk about that. Um, so right now where we can be found at silveringbeauty.com. And most of the information, like there's a quiz right at the beginning on the main page that says not sure where to start, take the quiz. And it's probably longer than it should be, but again, there's so much information because again, nobody knows it. It's not like we're selling lipstick, where it's like, what is lipstick? Why do we need it? We're just like, wow, we have to start from zero. So there's so much information. So that quiz is really helpful. Also, we introduce on our socials, like on our Instagram and Facebook, silvering_beauty and silvering beauty, respectively. We introduce very wise silvering women
Mm,
who are, top of their game. They're industry leaders, and we pull some great quotes and kind of just to reinforce this idea that it's wisdom. And when you see a woman with silvering hair, she's a seasoned professional, and that's a sign of something to pay attention to. Those
yeah.
are
And
things.
I love your shirt. The wisdom is beautiful. Can people buy those on
Thank
your
you.
site? I might
We're
have to go
just
get one.
about to launch them.
Yay.
They are probably this week. Like again, what was I working on before we got onto this call? So probably this week we'll be selling them through the website, but subscribers will get a discount. We're just
Amazing.
working on that. Hmm. Hmm.
Amazing. So we'll make sure all of those links get in the show notes so everybody
Oh, great.
can find you. And it was interesting.
Super.
A couple of days ago, I was getting my brows done, and I
Do you
was
get them
telling,
threaded? What do you do? Getting your brows
yes, get
done?
them threaded. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And my brow girl, she does also. Sorry, I was getting my lashes done, but I do get my brows threaded. I was getting my
Okay.
lashes done, but she also does microblading for eyebrows.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
told her I was going to be interviewing on the podcast. We were just having this conversation. And she's like, yeah, she goes, like, so many of my clients now are, going gray. And she's like, I'm struggling to find the right pigments, like for her
Mhm.
microblading, that like will work with these women. So she's like, oh,
Mhm.
okay. So I know she's going to be looking you up to see what she
Yeah, to
needs to
try and get
learn.
we have a
Yeah.
lot of customers who have gone through microblading route and don't like the color that came out and are looking for something to go over top. So our brow product again stays all day, goes over top, can soften and kind of tone
Mm,
down the colors that have been applied.
yeah.
It's a thing. It's unique. Like the shading is unique and it's changing all the time as well, right? Like for me, and
Yeah.
like in my case, it's like getting lighter and lighter around my face. the back is still quite dark. It's like, ah. Yeah, that wasn't, you can cut that out.
No, it's all good. Thank you so much for this conversation. And thank you, for so
Pleasure.
many things. So first of all, for demonstrating, living your purpose, right? Making a difference in the world, for solving the beauty problems that, that we're all struggling with, that we didn't even know there was a solution for. Like, first of all, we didn't know it was a problem until we got there. And now we know that there are solutions, and very innovative solutions. So thank you. And then that, and the message of your brand, like, providing options for women to just own who they are, like all of who they are. That wisdom is beautiful. I love your brand. I love what it stands for. I love what it does for women. So thank you for modeling all of that for all of
Wonderful.
us.
Spread the word. Spread the word.
Yes,
No, I'm
we will
really,
absolutely.
I'm happy to be here. I hope, like, I just want to inspire other people to find their thing, because I don't know. I feel like everybody's kind of growing towards something. Find that thing.
True.
Mine's
everybody's growing towards something. Yeah. I love that. So thank you again. To those of you listening, if you love what you heard on this podcast, please go give us a rating or a review, or even better yet, pass this episode along to a friend or a silver sister who you think could get some benefit from the Silvering Beauty brand. So thank you, Alexis. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thanks for listening to the Old Chicks No Shit podcast. If you like what you heard, the greatest compliment you could give us would be to comment below and subscribe. Or better yet, you could share this episode with a friend, a relative, or somebody you think could get something out of it. And remember, midlife is not the beginning of the end. It's simply the beginning of your kick-ass next chapter.